signal's clear, coming through Geocache Talk. A voice on the line I hear, coming through Geocache Talk.
It's time for Geocache Talk. Whether you are at work, in the car, or wherever you are, we hope you enjoy this show about the great sport of geocaching. If you're watching live on YouTube, you can be part of the adventure tonight in the chat room and participate with others as they watch the show. If you are listening later, please give it a like and subscribe on your favorite podcasting app so that you can get all of the weekly Geocache Talk goodness.
Big thanks to the Treble Bugs for the music on the audio side, and also now on the video side. And our featured patrons, Super Nate. They are way up in Maine. I don't know if they're probably headed back toward Tennessee, but they went all the way up to Maine and been following their exploits, and it's been great. They've found a lot of cool caches.
Well, you get to get a lot of states when you go up that way too.
Ain't that the truth?
Knock off states really quickly in that part of the country.
That is for sure. The Twonky, Burnt Turtles, Cazelli, Dragon, and Visiting Vet Tech, Acme Wild Cachers, P0001, ADK Sarah, Eastern Girls, Billy Robson, and our new patrons, Sackishness, The Fours Awakens, Huey 250, Merlin 1392, Kenny Mason Maddie. I got it right. See, I'm learning. Rin Nicole, The Four Lunsfords, and Geocache. Geocache. That's interesting. Sounds familiar. We might hear more from Geocache tonight.
That's right.
If you'd like to become a patron, click on the Become a Patron link on the front page of the Geocache Talk website, or head on over to patreon.com/Geocache Talk for more details. Patrons get the now very famous blackout coin.
Yep.
Ta-da.
Upside down.
Is it upside down?
Yeah.
It is upside down. Is it upside down? There we go. I'll hold it upside down.
Right. Yeah.
I'll hold it upside down, then when it's right side up. Other items during the year, bonus content, invites to special events, only for patrons. Support levels start at as little as Bison Tube level, which is $3 a month. Let me welcome my co-host, Jesse.
Good evening. I am happy to be here, and I'll talk about my failed research in just a minute. But
oh my, okay.
I had for the show, but I failed, so we'll get there in a second.
We got a huge show tonight. Lots going on. It's going to be great.
Nothing happening. He's lying.
Nothing happening. 100 things happening with the network, but let's dive into some news, and then we'll get into our special announcement. So that's coming.
We did that last week.
What
did we just do a special announcement?
Did we? Yeah, I guess we did. Well, Puzzle Talk came out.
We got a new one?
Another announcement yet. We have a special announcement. We don't know what the special announcement is yet.
I thought that was just from our previous notes. I thought you just didn't write over it. We have another special announcement. Okay.
Another special announcement, right. Yeah.
I'll get
up. But let's talk briefly about a couple things, which is upcoming shows. I want to mention a couple things. One's cool is next week we're doing a show. We're doing a CacheTour.no, more insight into how to use CacheTour, but we're doing it with one of the founders of CacheTour.no, Carl Hove, and he's going to be on from Norway. But we're going to have the show at the regular time, so it's like 4 a.m. his time or something crazy. But that's what he was okay with it. So if he's okay with it, I'm okay with it. So,
but it's such a deep tool. It's like Project GC. It's hard to get it all into one episode. So we have
there's no way. Yeah. I downloaded their basic, or I clicked or made a link to their basic instructions on using CacheTour. It's 3 hours long. Their basic is 3 hours. That's how great it is. I love it. I use it all the time, and hopefully everybody else will start using it. I know people are starting to use it more. Joshua, Geocaching Vlogger, has used it recently. You and I have talked about it, using it more. So that'll be next week. And then the week after that, on July 5th, we have a special show with Jesse Tuttle and the AFK geocaching crew. We're talking about something that's coming out. He's going to really not only announce it, but kind of tell everybody about this new product that they have worked on in conjunction with geocaching.com. And so we're looking forward to that. It's a trackables product website. So we're looking forward to that.
That'll be a big one.
So let's get into our announcement. So let me bring up the people that are going to be part of that announcement right now. First, let's start with bringing up Jeff May. Cast the line.
Hey, how's it going?
Jeff is out in the.
What do we have that guy on here for?
I know. Well, you'll find out. He is out in the field right now, which we'll talk about in a minute. He's knocking the flies away. He's deep in the woods of Ontario.
We should bring somebody else on, not just him.
Absolutely. So let me bring in Emily.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Emily. So,
Hey, Emily.
Hi, Jeff.
So there they are. There is. I guess I'll let Jeff. I'll let you make the announcement. I guess I don't want to steal the thunder.
Well, I guess I can kind of hint at the theme right away. I spent the afternoon out trying to find a number of hard qualifier caches. I found one very rare DT in Ontario for Ontario Fizzy Counts for a challenge cache.
Cool.
I went out and I am now actually I found also a very old cache from 2001, which is placed in one of 2 months left for an Ontario Jasmer challenge.
Wow.
So I've got 1 month left to finish that one. So only caches in Ontario. And I'm now at a get away. I'm now at
just keep going. Right
a
through
little
it.
lake. It's kind of popular. There's like people fishing and swimming and all that down there. And I just found a cache that was a challenge cache I qualified for, which is an old one for just completing a fizzy grid in Ontario, plus a few other requirements. But that cache is also a DT that I need towards 30 fizzies in Ontario. So it's kind of a whole bunch of complex stuff going on. But yeah, you can kind of sense what the theme is. And that is challenges, challenge caches. Boom, there it is. I even made.
Oh wow!
Oh, that.
You made a
This
full
thing's gonna
size
get a
one.
trackable. I'm going to make this a trackable, and that's going to be on the back of the upcoming podcast. I'm going to fix it up a little bit.
Yay! So this will be our 5th podcast. Challenge Talk is official now. The Challenge Talk podcast. If you want to get in touch with the co-hosts Jeff and Emily, you can send them an email at challengetalkpodcast@gmail.com. They're going to be on monthly, and it's going to be on Thursdays at, let me see if I get this right. It would be 8 Eastern, 7 Central, 6 Mountain, and 5 Pacific. Did I get it all right?
Yes.
That
First
sounds right.
Thursdays.
First Thursday of the month.
First Thursday of the month.
Yeah, first Thursday of the month. And they're very excited. They're getting everything ready for their first show. Will be July 2nd.
Yep.
And
I got lots of plans.
Yeah.
Lots of stuff to talk about. Lots of stuff to do in the show as well. It should be fun times. Real fun.
Yeah. Challenges drive us. Give us so many new goals and purposes, and
Oh yeah.
the possibilities are endless.
Yeah.
It's going to be great. This is something we talked about for a while. We've kind of known about this. We just wanted to wait for the right timing for this. So, as far as I was talking about upcoming shows, in between next week, the cachetour.no with Carl, there will be our first challenge talk. Will be on July 2nd, and then of course July 5th will be another of our shows. And of course, Puzzle Talk will be back this Tuesday. One of the 5 the 5 different podcasts that we got going on. So, very excited. Go ahead, Jeff.
Calendar, Gary, somewhere. You should put a calendar up.
I do. I have a calendar. We have one. I'm going to update it now that I can add them in. Also add Emily onto the front page as being part of the network. So Jeff, part of the network before, but Emily, welcome to the network.
Thank you very much.
And
Happy to do it.
glad y'all are finally getting to start this, and we finally get to announce it because, as you can guess, I'm pretty excited about this. So challenges are awesome, and I think y'all are going to do a lot to introduce people to challenges. But the people that are already into challenges are really into challenges. They drives them and everything else. So I think you're going to do good for both of those camps there. So this is going to be a very exciting show. I'm glad you finally get to come on and announce that you're bringing it to the geocaching universe. It's going to be really good.
It's going to be good.
Yeah. So they're fired up. They've been meeting and talking and making plans. So I think it's going to be great. You two are going to be great. It's going to be fun. And appreciate y'all coming on tonight and making that announcement. So
I will
looking
not
forward
always be
again.
broadcasting from the field. I'll be at home in a nice enclosed area with lights and no mosquitoes.
And no mosquitoes.
That's right.
Jeff's not going to every time be out at a cache. This. So anyway, that's great. So thank you guys so much. And
See you soon.
we'll see you soon.
Sign this log. Here's another thing. Do not do this. Do not be this geocacher. There is a fish that's in this geocache.
I know.
It's
Jeff's
going
taking that
away.
one out.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Bye,
Thanks.
guys.
Bye.
Yeah.
Well, there they go.
Very cool. We've known about this obviously for a little while as they've been getting this ready. I'm so excited they finally get to bring this out because challenges, of course, need their own podcast. Of course.
Yes. Absolutely. I mean, that kind of thing really, to me, lends itself to what we've got going, which is all the different ones. I mean, it works perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So we're up to 5. Let me mention them real quick. Obviously, this show, the Sunday show, we've got Puzzle Talk, second and third Tuesdays of every month.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Geocaching with Kids.
Awesome.
That is the second Wednesday of every month. We now have Challenge Talk. I was gonna mess that up. Challenge Talk, which is every first Thursday of the month. Check the calendar. First Thursday of the month. Gadget Talk is the first and fourth Tuesday of every month. And then if you're a patron, there's a sixth one, which is the book club, which about to start another book here pretty shortly.
Yep. We are starting another book. It's our third round, and we're looking forward to it. So
that's great.
By the way, for anybody that's thinking about joining up that hasn't done it, Cashed Out. So we're reading a geocaching book coming up.
Yep.
So,
Cashed Out's great. It's a free book.
Yeah, free book. So, a lot of us are still locked down and can't get to the bookstores easily. So we want to make sure it's easy and have plenty of time. So we're going to start that round 3 up. So lots of fun there.
Yep. Quick last announcement for tonight. We're gonna get started on the next part of the show, but I wanted to give everybody the last sort of note. We're down to the last couple weeks for our promo of Ride in the Rain. There's the promo code geocache. So if you go to riteintherain.com, you can RITE in the rain.com.
Right.
Then you can use our code geocache for 30% off. That's a pretty good. And a lot of times, if you find the right items, you can combine the codes and get it even less. I think, Jesse, you did that last time, didn't you? You got.
Yeah, I did. I used some of the promotions and the codes, and I got some cheap stuff. I'll admit. I was kind of cheating a little bit, but hey, it's okay. It works.
So please go purchase from Ride in the Rain. Please tell them where you heard and used the promo code. It helps everybody out when we do that. So, all right, let's get into the show. Let's bring up our guest for tonight right now. Chad, yeah, you got problems there too, don't you there, buddy?
He's swatting as well.
I don't think so. Well, I don't know. He's got kind of a weird. His workshop may be full of all sorts of bugs. I don't think so.
I do feel sad for the cachers that come out to Gilby. And they got to sit around and swat mosquitoes and try to figure them out.
Swatting flies and everything else. So want to welcome our guests for tonight for show number 203.
Mhm.
We've got Geocache. So Gia is with us.
It's me.
Welcome to Geocache Talk.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And Tricassius, which is Chad. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Gary. We're really excited to do this.
Oh, we are too. Chad and I, we did a show back on Cache and Release. So this is your first Geocache Talk one, but Chad and I did a show. I think he has a copy of there's a replica of the former cache that was blown up, right? Yeah. Tricache's hotline. I like it's even got labeled. Now, that was the one that the bomb squad blew up, Chad. Was it labeled just like that?
It looked almost exactly like that. There's some more blue on it. That's about it.
Wow. Nobody took the time to take a real good look at it. And
I've never seen a bomb that looked like that before.
If a bomb squad's coming out, they're going to blow something up. That's what I figure.
Hey, training is training, I guess, right?
It was fun coming in and going and teach the bomb squad personnel. They brought us out to the back, brought out all the robots. So that was pretty exciting to see all that. I even have the concussion shell that they used to blow the thing to smithereens.
Oh,
Nice.
wow.
And then in my backyard, I actually have a little robot arm, and all the little bits and pieces from that cache are inside that container.
That's awesome. We're not here to talk about that, though. But we had to mention that, though. But we're here to talk about a couple items. We're going to talk about Gilby, North Dakota, some of the caches there, and then we're going to spend the majority of time talking about the Fargo-Moorhead GeoTour, which is fascinating. Crosses 2 states. There's only a few that I know of that GeoTours that cross multiple states. The Santa Fe Trail one does, but this is kind of neat that it crosses over both into Minnesota and North Dakota. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's talk a little bit about Gilby and some of the caches, Chad, that you have there, and then, like I said, we'll get into more because I've got some questions about the GeoTour. I'm really excited to talk about that. But first, tell us a little bit about some of the caches that you have placed in Gilby, because you live near Gilby. You're really just on the outskirts of Gilby, right?
Yep, I'm just a mile or two outside of Gilby. When I started, there was another person caching in Gilby that I didn't know. He had placed a geocache in town, and I thought, well, look at that. There's somebody else in Gilby that caches. So it took me a little bit to figure out who it was, and once we started meeting up, and the hipster Greg McLean, he said, well, maybe we should make Gilby a mecca. He had put a couple in Grand Forks that were pretty good,
right?
And so we started talking a little bit and started doing some caches. And sadly, he passed away about the time we really got started. So
wow,
that was kind of a sad deal.
Yeah, that's always sad when you lose a friend and lose a geocaching friend, and but you've got a few that I wanted to ask you about. You put some interesting notes in, and one of the things that I think people kind of need to know about for yours, Chad, is you do many. I would say, wouldn't you say mostly you do gadget caches? Do you think?
Yeah, most of my caches are gadgets of one sort or another in and around Gilby. I really don't put out any signpost caches or anything like that. There's very few that I think are copies of other caches. I think a lot of them are original from what I can tell. I've got a few different oddball ones for sure.
Oh, okay. Eric's coming your way. He's in South Dakota, so I guess y'all let South Dakota people cross the border, I assume.
Yep. We've got an event the end of July, and it sounds like we're going to have a few people. We had originally planned it for the end of May, and then our reviewer was a little leery of us having an event. And so I conceded and said, okay, I'm going to move it to the end of July. And right now, North Dakota has opened up quite a bit. We're allowed 2,000 people at the racetrack and
Wow.
500 or more in indoor events. So
Oh,
we
that's
shouldn't
awesome.
have a problem in Gilby, I don't think.
The population of Gilby is like 237, Chad, is that
Somewhere in
right?
there. Yep.
That's awesome.
Not a big town, no.
But as Tom quoted Joshua, he says that Gilby is the Disneyland of the North, Disney World of the North, geocaching wise. So
To quote Jerry G. Neese, he says it's the Disneyland of the North.
That's good. That's
Mhm.
good. Yep. Janice is listening. He was on. I saw a note from him earlier. So Tom's taking a shot at you guys up there in North Dakota. There are 5,000 people. There's more than 5,000, Tom. Now you stop it. And
there is only 3,000 geocaches, though.
Is there really? Okay. So Jesse, it looks like you're moving to North Dakota, buddy.
Yeah, that's it's wide open. We need to go. Yeah, it's not wide open here. So it's funny too, and I know we're going to get into it. But if one of the geocaching search features you can do is you type in a town, and you can do the 10-mile radius. And it's funny when you do that for Gilby because you have to go a long way down to get a cache that has less than, if you sort it by favorite points, like I always do, it has less than 30 favorite points, like the top ton. And there seems to be a common name with all those, but we'll get to that, right? Like it's 100 something favorite points or whatever, and it goes all the way down, and you just keep scrolling. And you're like, I'm trying to find 130 favorite points here, and that's tons of favorite points for a smaller town like that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of what I've done in Gilby. I've also helped other places. I've got caches in Winnipeg. I've got caches farther north in Walsh County and Pembina County. Of course, I've helped Geo with a few. I've been contacted by a couple of cachers that have been out in Gilby and asked if I could make a duplicate or if they could copy them. And so I've sent some Las Vegas, New York. There's a few of them around.
Are you one that kind of not appreciates but recognizes the fact that your caches have a lot of those favorite points? Is that kind of a point of pride for you, or something you don't notice?
Oh, it is definitely neat to see the favorite points pop up.
It's okay to admit,
They don't all get favorited every time, which sometimes I think, well, why wouldn't that be better than a lamp skirt hide? But I'm okay with it.
I'm saying. Yeah, I noticed that you had you're approaching 4,000 favorite points on your cache.
Oh, is that right?
That is amazing. That's that's amazing.
I spend more time in the shop than looking on the computer, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, Gia mentioned about his shop. We've done a couple shop tours lately. We did, the trucks, and then recently we did Chad's bounce. So, and Gia pointed out that you do have a nice looking. Well,
it is a full shop.
You have a full shop, Chad. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
I'm sure it's organized. I'm sure.
Well,
he knows where everything is, which is crazy.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a method to the madness, but so I want to show a cache and talk about this cache because I was looking through some Gilby ones. Let's talk a little bit about Strongman at the Fair, if we may. How did you come up with this? Well, I know how you came up with the idea, but how did you get this one? And if I can, let me show a little bit of the gallery. How did this cache come about? 163 favorite points.
I don't know where my ideas come from. I do have a notebook next to my bed, and I'll wake up in the middle of the night and scribble something down in a picture or something, and wake up and try to figure out what the heck I just drew or wrote.
Right. So it is very much like the strong man at the fair, where you have is the mallet like nearby? Is that kind of?
Yeah, the mallet is right there, and you do have to hit it. I don't believe Geo was quite able to do it with
Oh.
her group. But you do have to really give it a hit. So
Yeah,
a lot of people will cheat and pull it up with the sticks or something.
Oh, okay.
Well, I won't say cheat, but
Yeah.
you do have to hit it pretty hard.
And does the cache? Well, we won't spoil how it comes out, but that's a great idea. I mean, that's just a neat. It's just a neat thing to think about to create is something like that.
Thank you.
It is awesome.
There's a cache. Well, I think you could see the picture there. There was a cacher from, the Kisher, 829.
Oh, okay.
Right at the bottom middle.
Oh, the
Guy with
middle.
the-
Okay. Oh, the
guy
middle.
with the handkerchief.
Oh,
That
this guy
guy's
right here.
from Florida.
Yeah, he kind of smacked himself in the head, didn't he?
Yeah. I used to have a hard hat at that cache and it disappeared, but
Oh my.
I emailed that guy and he thought it was the best story he ever had. So he went back to Florida to tell everybody about the dangerous caches in Gilby. Anyway,
That is funny.
That,
I was pretty worried about it, but he was chuckling the whole time.
oh well, that's good. That's good.
Not all of them draw blood like that. The mosquitoes will, but
That's awesome though. And so, yeah. And then another one I wanted to talk about, and then we'll switch gears over, talk about GeoTour was, this one. Let me share it because it's always good to share the screens. So where is it? Which one is it? There it is. Driving Miss Daisy.
that
68
one,
favorite.
that one's my favorite right now.
It is? Okay.
Yes.
That's very cool.
The
So-
photos won't even do it justice.
Yeah, the photos, you need more better people are not so talk about it. Tell us what this one's about.
Well, so you get to the ground zero, you find the ammo can, and you pull out that hair dryer looking thing. It's got
Okay.
a couple of LEDs on it. Then you got to get back on the road in your car and race down the road with that thing hanging out the window at about 45 miles an hour to
Oh
get
yeah.
the fan to turn, generate electricity, and light up the LEDs.
Oh wow.
So then once you get the combination, then you go back to the ammo can and open it up. That's one of my favorites. I like reading a lot of the stories that some people write about that one.
Right.
That one's a lot of fun to hear what people try to do to get it to
That's such a great idea. That's how in the world did you think of that?
I don't know how I think of some of that stuff. Yeah.
So I guess you started with the hair dryer. I mean, or I don't know. How do you remember what was the genesis of the?
I have got so much stuff here to play with. I had a fan sitting here, and it dawned on me if I blew air through it that I could get it to generate power. So then I kind of cobbled up something together to see if it had enough to run a LED, and so I'm running around out in the pickup trying to see it'll work, and it works. So I thought, well, I can come up with something for that.
That is so great. Yeah, Joshua was up here, was there recently. Yeah, he said geocaching Disneyland of the North.
Oh,
So there you go. He's exactly correct. So
that was pretty awesome that he came up. He visited
yeah.
the GeoTour. He's got a couple of YouTube videos already on Fargo-Moorhead, and then sounds like next week he'll be doing a couple of Gilby ones.
Yeah. Oh, cool. Yeah, we got some. So we're looking forward to. He's going to do some Gilby videos for people. So that's going to be great.
I have never found a cache that unique. Never.
That is very interesting. That's my favorite.
Right? I have never found anything, much less a group of caches that unique. I guess I'm going to North Dakota. I don't know.
Like I say, I think most of mine are fairly original. There are a couple, of course, I have to make a couple of West Virginia Tim ones.
Everybody does.
Oh
there,
yeah.
there are a couple, but most of mine, I believe, are fairly original, or that I have never seen anyway.
That's great.
Well, Janice saying you're warped. I don't know. I don't think that's true.
Oh, I don't disagree either. So.
What you doing hanging out with that guy? I don't understand that at all. But
Sometimes I don't get much choice.
no, you two are great. We got saw you guys when we were at the Gigastock.
Yes.
Glad y'all popped by and spent some time talking. So that was great. Gigastock, Jesse, that was the Giga that was in the U.S.
I looked all over for
Imaginary one.
I looked all over for Jesse. I didn't see him anywhere other than a flat Jesse.
Yeah, just flat Jesse.
That's fake news. That thing didn't happen. I don't.
Poor Jesse. He's waiting for the next. We got to have another one. We need to have another Gigastock somewhere. Maybe not a Woodstock, but
there's no gigas happening right now. So let's not.
No, they're not happening. All right, let's switch gears and let's talk about this crazy place. We got some before we do that, Jesse, we want to talk about some of the things we did this weekend real quick, and then we'll go into let's do that.
Yeah.
So before we switch and talk about tours, one of the things you're talking about, we both actually got to get out this weekend. I put out 6 new caches, but they're still not published. I got to look and see, but that's not bad. I don't know for you guys. Our reviewer, the reviewer that works with our part of Texas, is really great. I'm not just saying that to try to curry favor, but Revan is a great geocacher. He's a great reviewer. So I just put him out, so I'm not expecting him yet to be out. But Jesse, you went to a couple this weekend that you wanted to mention.
Yeah. So kind of what we do, we know the topics ahead of time. Gary's great about planning topics out for, months. So we can kind of tailor a lot of our caching around what we're getting ready to do. So this weekend, it's Father's Day weekend. So happy Father's Day to every father.
Yes. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers.
World's planned a great geocaching weekend for us. And what we're going to try to do is go and do a GeoTour, because we're
talking about a GeoTour. Right.
It's always good to have it fresh in your mind for the things that you're talking about.
Absolutely.
But we got out and we got distracted. And this kind of ties into what we're talking about too. And Chad kind of alluded to it earlier as well. But so we're driving around, we're finding these caches, we got everything downloaded, and it's about 4 hours from home. So it wasn't that far. We got up early, got breakfast, drove down there. But we're going to this GeoTour, the South Park GeoTour, and there's 70 caches in it. So it's a huge undertaking.
Wow, that's a lot.
But it's in a really pretty area, and it's kind of spread out pretty good too. But so daunting to do it all. But we're trying to get down there anyway, and then so we decided we'd make a detour and we do these. And we kept finding these good caches all along the way that were like, oh, these are so good. But one of the ones we found, and this is part of the reason why we never made it to the GeoTour, is this caches like this.
Right.
GC 9310. So Christy pulled this one up as we're going, and if you notice, this is a 2002 cache.
Wow!
But look at the view. So
I know.
You can't tell, but on a hill really high, and there's this view here. It's a 2002 cache. So if you noticed, there's only 19 favorite points on that cache since 2002.
That makes no sense.
And as we just talked about recently, and we're going to talk about coming up again, first of all, that makes no sense. So all those other people that have found that since 2002 didn't think that rated a favorite point. And it's not even to the scale of what we're talking about, what we're getting ready to talk about. And we had a big, long discussion too. But so this cache, it's an standard ammo can, right? But the log that's in it is the original log since 2002, been maintained ever since. A big log that you can write in, and there's stories in it. It's at the top of a mountain with a view that is beautiful.
Right.
The description on the page is perfect. It's a 1.5 mile hike. He tells you exactly where to park, tells you exactly what to do, exactly how, if you're at this level, you can do this and everything else. And you cannot ask for any more to this cache, and only 19 people have favored that thing.
That's
and we sat there for like 20 or 30 minutes just admiring this view and thinking, who thought this was like on the same level as an LPC? Like, who does that? Or apparently this is all cachers from Gilby, because they're not impressed with this cache.
Right.
Like, who is not impressed with this cache?
They're setting the bar too high up there.
So, but we did end up, since we decided, because like GeoTour, you kind of want to like do them all. They're so good and they're kind of grouped together and everything else. We're going to go back to this town that has this, and we're going to stay for the weekend and do all those 70 caches in a big long weekend or whatever else. So I thought, okay, we didn't get to the GeoTour, but we saw that we really wanted to do it. And then we swung by and got a new county on the way home. So it kind of tied into our challenge stuff that we're talking about anyway. But just the whole GeoTours gets you really motivated. We drove 4 hours for this GeoTour, didn't even get it, and we have no hesitation about going back.
Right.
Go back and we haven't even started the GeoTour yet. So that's kind of the motivation that these things will do for you. So it was pretty neat to get down there anyway. So, but again, the favorite, we hadn't even talked about these crazy caches. We talked about Gilby. I'll never understand the favorite point thing, but we don't want to spend the whole show on that. So let's get to the GeoTour.
Yeah, but you're right.
I'll never get it. I really won't.
Yeah.
There's lots of logs where they say they ran out of favorite points when they come up to Gilby too.
That's good.
I don't. That's fine.
That's a good thing.
Who runs? I don't know. I guess I'm stingy with mine. That's why I don't run out of. I have
I'm
left over, but
I'm giving mine out like candy. I'm down to like 5 again, so I'm just like whatever.
And go catch more. Go find more.
I know, go find more. I am. You're right though.
Budget better. Favorite point budget better.
Budget better. I like that. That sounds like that's for another show.
That's right.
There you go. All right. Fargo-Moorhead GeoTour. So Gia, tell us how this whole thing happened.
Sure.
How long has the tour been around now, do you think?
We launched the tour at the end of September of last year. So.
Okay. So not long.
No. And ironically, like we were just talking about, I've actually never found another GeoTour. So maybe that was in my benefit a little bit because I didn't have anything to compare it to other than a lot of caches that had been hidden in this area, and a lot by Chad and Jeff and Wes, who ended up helping out with the tour. So it was kind of full circle for me.
Right. No, that's awesome. So, I mean, it's somewhat unique. The fact that it's in Moorhead, Minnesota, and Fargo, North Dakota. Has there always been, do you think, a fairly good relationship between the two cities?
Yeah, our visitor center is shared. So it's the Fargo-Moorhead Visitor Center.
Okay, cool.
And our cities, I live in Moorhead, Minnesota, but it's just across the bridge from Fargo. So definitely synergy between the two cities, and it just made sense. And it's actually the first official GeoTour in both states. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, that is awesome. You know, and to have it, like you said, if you look at the map, and I always like to go peruse the GeoTour map. Yeah, I mean, you guys are like perfectly positioned. There isn't anything really, there's no tours. So, I mean, it worked out perfect obviously it worked out perfect because you've got great cachers. You have great towns. We'll talk a little bit tonight about, Fargo and Moorhead, and it's just neat to see all of it sort of come together. I guess maybe for you that was sort of something as well to be able to see the whole thing finally come together last year. That's neat.
Yeah, definitely. There's 24 destinations, and all of them are special to me in some way. So it's kind of cool. I see it as like my love letter to this community.
Yeah, a lot of great caches. I know Joshua has done a couple of videos recently. Mm-hmm. There he is doing, he did a couple GeoTour videos. His second one came out, today. And so it was fun to see those, and really gives us a good flavor for, what to expect. But man, there are some great caches on this. And it's just, like Jesse said, it's like, there's another 70 favorite points, it's like, oh my gosh, these are awesome. I have done several GeoTours, and I know that this guy has, and I don't know if I guess he could kind of speak to what's going on too. So I wonder who this is. So, oh, look.
Whoa.
Well, what do you know?
That was weird.
That
was weird. That's never happened. I was just like watching the show, and then now I'm on the show.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was supposed to be on tonight. I was just watching in the chat.
Weird. Yeah.
That was weird. But hi.
Hey, Joshua.
So
We were just talking about you.
Talking to a couple of my favorite North Dakotans. Although I think Gia lives in
Minnesota.
Moorhead. She lives in Moorhead. So, and yeah, I came on. I had to make an announcement.
Okay.
So are you ready? This is exclusive.
Wow.
Are you ready?
We're loving
Is
for
everybody
that.
ready? This is super exclusive. On every third Monday and
Here we go.
fifth Friday,
Okay.
there's a brand new podcast here on the network. It's called Vlogger Talk.
Oh,
It's coming up. I don't have a logo yet, but
I think we're gonna let this guy go for now, and no, we can't do that to Joshua.
no.
Yes,
kid.
we do have a calendar now because it's a little bit complicated.
Yeah.
It's complicated, kind of like the Facebook, where Geocache Talk on Facebook is complicated. That's our relationship with geocaching. So
sure.
We watched your video, or I watched it today.
Mm-hmm.
Part 2.
Yeah.
And so we're going to talk about some of the specifics, but give us a feel from your perspective, being somebody who just did them. I mean, Gia's going to give us all the lowdown from her side of things, but what got you to go there? Obviously, it was the first GeoTour in Minnesota, but and I know you and I talked about, you're like, hey, I think I'm going to go up here, and but what were you expecting?
Well, I'm just a big fan of GeoTours in general because we know that there's a commitment, a financial commitment to Geocaching HQ to make these happen. So if that happens, that means that typically they are very well done caches. They are very well maintained caches. I'm familiar with the Fargo-Moorhead area, and I know that there's a lot of amazing things to see. I learned some things that I didn't know about it, but I knew it was a great city, and I knew that Tricassius was also a part of putting them together, and I wanted to get up to Gilby for years. So yeah, the stars all aligned, and I really enjoyed it. I've done several GeoTours, and it's right up there. It's right up there with some of the best GeoTours. The perfect mix of great caches and great locations, I think, is what makes a good GeoTour, because the cache doesn't have to be amazing, but if the cache isn't amazing, it has to take you to a cool location.
Right.
And every single cache on this GeoTour either had a great cache or a great location, and often both. So
you and I have done several, and some of them that we've done didn't really do both that well. I mean, I won't mention a couple of them, but the caches in some of the GeoTours I've done are not. They're nothing. They're basically just almost like a pill bottle, but they took you to a location and you're like, oh, okay. Some of them are great, but some of the locations you're like, okay, great. Let's go do another one.
Why did they put this one here?
Yeah. Why? I mean, I can kind of see that this is supposed to be a nice local eatery, but it's not making me excited. I'm going to move on. Let's go do another one, But
yeah, and another thing I loved about this GeoTour is that some when you look at them on the map, they are very overwhelming. They're like, have to cache the whole state, or there's a lot of them. And this one is 24 caches, which is completely doable in one day.
Right.
And that's really, I think, to a geocacher, to look at a GeoTour and say, I can do it in at least a weekend. I think that's very, very appealing. I would rather have fewer caches with higher quality than like a whole load of them, to complete it.
Oh, absolutely. No. So, Gia was saying she'd never done one before. It probably was good, Gia, that you had never done one before, actually, because I agree. If there's too many or they're too spread out, I mean, we did one. It was great, but a lot of driving. Whereas this one, you know, you're seeing the great sights of both these cities. So incredible, you know.
And Joshua, you brought up something too, that some of those bigger ones, I believe geocaching still has the rule that to get the souvenir for it, you have to do every single one on the tour, right? So if it's 75, 80, even if you get the coin as part of the GeoTour, you don't get the souvenir for it. So that's pretty tough. I don't know if that's still the rule. It was the last time I checked, but
yes, I believe that is still the rule. And even Gia and I had this conversation because with the COVID-19 thing, some of these caches were indoors, and I wasn't able to get to all of them. So I completed the tour, got my coin, and I still don't have my digital souvenir. And so Geocaching HQ, if you're listening,
yes,
90%. If people complete 90%, give them the souvenir, please.
I agree. Okay. We need to bring that. We'll bring it up
if they're listening. Of course, they call a meeting to the show. What are you talking about?
Yeah, they're always listening because we don't know they're not sure what we're going to say.
They got their button like, all right, we're kicking those guys out. Boop.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. In fact, that's on my list of things to bring up with Brian next time we have him on. Seriously, as I've done several tours, and I don't have a single souvenir because I've never been able to. Pensacola, same thing. There was a cache we couldn't get to because it was inside of a museum. Doors closed, but we can finish the tour. We got our coin, you know, and all that, but we couldn't finish everything out. So, yeah, I like the idea of the 90%. I like that. That's good.
That would be better. I've finished one tour twice now, 2 years in a row, and I still don't have the souvenir.
Right. So I'm going to bring up a couple of these caches, and I want everybody, the three of you guys, to comment on it from your perspective. So let's start with this one because it's pretty amazing watching the video on Skull Vikings. So who made this crazy thing?
That was one of my friends, Larry Larson.
Okay.
Super creative.
There it is. There's a picture of it. I don't know who that guy is, but
yeah. And then an artist friend of mine decorated the ammo can.
That's awesome. But it's a keg of beer, Jesse, right there. It's a beer keg. Big one.
I've seen one of those before.
Have you seen a cache like that?
No, the keg of beer. I thought we were just talking about the keg of beer.
Oh, yeah. I figured you'd seen a keg of beer, but
no, I have never seen a cache like that yet.
Not till you get up there. But that is what a great idea for a cache. And so I know Joshua was, when you first walked up and saw that, you were pretty amazed, I guess.
Well, I've never seen a cache hidden inside of a keg of beer. That was a first. And the cool thing is that there's a couple different styles because the kegs they're all at breweries. The kegs at the different places, they have different hiding styles for each keg. So even with having, you know, like a lot of GeoTours, ammo can, this had keg, but there were 3 different types of hides.
Right.
Which was just really next level.
Amazing. Just incredible. Just a great idea. Thanks, Carl. I like that because I actually looked up the pronunciation because here in Texas, we would say skull, but that's not correct. It's skull. So at Decker, favorite brewery. So that's great. So Gia, did he do, the person that did that one, did he do all those, or did somebody else do some of the other?
Chad helped. There was another one that was originally called the Harmar Superstar, and someone stole that one, sadly.
Oh gosh.
So the replacement cache is by Chad, and that is now like bolted into the ground about, I don't know, Chad, how many inches, but it's not going anywhere.
It's not going anywhere.
That's great. I mean, well, it's sad that it got muggled, but the fact that you redid it, that's really cool.
Yeah, in the video, you can see Josh go up to pick it up, and it does not move.
No.
No. Yeah, and the added touch of the artwork.
Yeah.
You mentioned that is awesome.
Yeah. Every time there was an ammo can, it wasn't just an ammo can. It was a well done piece of art, which again, just the attention to detail was just really impressive. Because it would have been, sometimes visitor centers are the ones that focus on this, and they're in charge of it, and often they don't. They have some help from geocachers, but I feel Geo was just really, really did this justice and didn't say, "Hey, I'll make a couple caches, and then you guys can figure out the rest." It was clearly geocachers that put this all together.
One of Gia's goals was to improve the cache, how nice the caches are in the area, and a lot of her caches originally were very nice.
And you know what? So that cache is awesome, right? But you obviously put a lot of elements into that, because if you just went out and did this GeoTour and just had people paint those ammo cans, you still probably would have got a lot of favorite points. That alone would have been enough to make this, oh, wow, these are great. We went up there and did this tour, and there was all these painted ammo cans, but you took it further and further than that, made the locations good, and also added more to it than just that. I mean, I've definitely seen – I don't want to say tour. I'm not going to call it any other tours, right? But I've definitely seen tours and stuff that did not even take that first level. So even that first level of what you did would have made this an exceptional cache. And we haven't even talked about all the really creative containers yet. So
yeah,
cool.
Another thing that Gia and I said, and Gia, maybe you could address this, is this GeoTours have to be accessible to the newbie, because on the official starter app, GeoTours fully show up. None of them are premium. So if they walk up, and there's one gadget cache, it's a little tricky. If they walk up to the gadget cache first, and that's their first experience with geocaching, it's a little tricky. So to make a GeoTour fun enough and challenging enough for diehard cachers, but then easy enough for newbies, that's a real challenge. Could you speak to that, Gia?
Yeah, that probably goes back a little bit to me not ever finding a GeoTour. Like maybe I was a little bit bold in what I was trying to accomplish. But I have nieces and a nephew that I like to take caching. And so like making something that was family friendly and also something that could appeal to a wide variety of people. So as has been mentioned, a lot of the caches, or a couple of the caches, are at breweries or like bar type places. So making them kind of fun for someone that's maybe they're having a beer to find, but also like accessible and creative and something cool and colorful for little kids too.
Oh yeah. Well, that's funny because Zoe mentioned that was Ellie. So that's awesome. Yeah, we showed her in the picture there, because they'd gone up there and done the GeoTour as well. So that is awesome. So the one I think we're sort of referencing, let's talk a little bit about because I got a little note, Jess, to Joshua, that this cache this may have been a little harder than you were thinking it might be. Is that a true story?
I was being way too gentle on it. Like I didn't want to break the thing. I didn't want to force it open. But again, apparently I need to do a few more push-ups, because I had to call Gia and Chad on this one. But once I got it open, fantastic gadget cache. Never seen anything like it. It's at an auto shop. It's basically a gadget cache that is a car with an odometer on it. If you click on another one of those pictures, though, why don't you click on that first one, Gary?
Okay.
And not only that, but at the location, a fantastic mural of the zip code of Moorhead, which
that's awesome.
Put it all together. It's just a beautiful, amazing gadget cache, and really, one of those gadget caches that are just hard enough that that you won't be sitting there all day, or there's not so many steps, but it was just like the perfect amount of fun.
That one guy looks familiar. I'm not sure who that guy is, but
I think
No,
that
that's
was my
great.
finger pointing at it so Jerry could see where it's
so
at.
Jerry, Jerry's right there. Yeah. So
That's
Yeah.
a Tricassius creation.
yes, that is awesome.
Somebody
Yeah.
in the chat said that the auto shop owner was super excited to have it. Gia, could you tell us about that?
So a lot of the places on the tour were kind of familiar with me beforehand, and like, I go in there and like have a beer, and so they're like, sure, yeah, put a keg here. But the 56560 mural, which is Moorhead zip code,
Mhm.
I wanted to put a cache there, and so I kind of went in and explained geocaching, and I think he was kind of like, okay, sure. I'm like, yeah, well, we want to do this really cool gadget cache, and I started telling him about it. And I think like until you see something like physically in front of you, it's hard to even grasp
Right.
what it is. And so when I brought it in and showed him and his staff, he was so jazzed. He was like, can I give you a hug? It was super sweet. And like, he's had some interactions with geocachers and has been so happy and so excited to be a stop on the GeoTour. And
That's awesome.
That's interesting too. The owners that get that back out of it, besides that one, have you had other ones that the owners have said, yeah, we've had a chance to interact with the geocachers and it's been a positive experience also?
A lot. And I had referenced that in the description of my caches. If you encounter, someone that works at the nearby establishment, like, or you happen to go in, like, make sure you tell them that you're geocaching. And I've heard a lot of positive feedback, or they've kind of run into someone or helped someone open a cache. So yeah, it's been overall super positive.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And if they don't, a lot of times, like if someone writes a log, like a detailed log about how they interacted with the establishment, I'll forward it to them.
Oh, neat.
Cool. Yeah.
That's a great idea.
That kind of brings up the point of, for anybody that's thinking about setting up a GeoTour, I'm going to sing Gia's praises again. You have to have a special gift and personality for talking to business people to convince them that this is a good idea. I was trying to set up an adventure lab this weekend, and just going into a business and starting at square zero, like, here's what geocaching is, and then convincing them that it would be a wonderful thing for their business. I just want to say that isn't easy to do, and I was just doing it for one person. Can you imagine doing it on a GeoTour when you're talking to multiple businesses? It's a lot of work.
Which brings up the question, and I was wanting to ask this anyway. So what made you brave enough, or maybe crazy enough, to take on a project like this? It seems like this has worked out great. But for anybody else that may be thinking about that, what made you go, you know what, I can do this?
I think probably a little bit foolishly, I just thought, I love geocaching. I love Fargo-Moorhead. I think I can get the right group of people together to do this and kind of get buy-in. I'm pretty active in the community in other ways. I do a bunch with local food and art. And so like, I think the skill set of kind of organizing people and putting a project together comes pretty easily to me. And so I just thought, why not? And so I had written for a grant and then reached out to the North Dakota and Minnesota Geocaching associations. And I think they were super excited and receptive to being involved. So I had a lot of support. And the visitor center, I think, was jazzed about the prospect of people coming here to do the GeoTour. And you tell someone like, yeah, people will plan their vacations around geocaching. And I think if you're not a geocacher, you're kind of like, what?
What?
But they've seen it play
It's
out.
true.
And they've had people travel here. There was a couple from Arizona that traveled to Fargo-Moorhead in February to complete the GeoTour. And it was like at 20 below. And I start getting these logs and I'm like, surely they're just delayed. Like, there's no way these people are here now. And I started reading through the logs, and they had come, it was like over Valentine's Day weekend, they had come from Arizona to do the GeoTour. So
Wow.
I ended up meeting up with them and having a drink, and now
That's
we're
awesome.
friends.
Which
Incredible.
that brings up another thing. So you're doing this, you got it in. Managing is another thing, right? So you probably get a little bit of snow there. I haven't been to Gilby or to Fargo or recently, but I've heard you might get snow there. Were you able to like set it up ahead of time to where all these were still snow friendly? And I mean, and there's been something going on in the world where some businesses have had to close. We're not going to get into that, but has that become part of your maintenance plan? Have you had to kind of work around that?
I think the term winter friendly is debatable. There's different definitions of that. We had Boreal Walker. He's a Minnesota geocacher, came through probably around February when it was super cold, and he just, super committed. They just brought shovels and they like dug out all the caches. So were they winter friendly? Yes.
Of course they are.
For Minnesotans, yes.
For Minnesotans, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, so that is awesome. To have a community come together like that is tremendous, and I think it's something that hopefully people will take the time. I think that more geotours are possible, but I think people just don't want to or don't know how to sort of start the process. And I think if people would just go to their local, for me, it's a chamber of commerce. We don't have a visitors place, but I don't know what it would take for some places to do that. But maybe just making that first, reach out to the community and check and see. I at least reached out to mine, and they were very open to putting a cache at the chamber, and I think there's possibilities for the future. But I think it's wonderful that you reached out. I do want to talk about another one if we can. Because this is another one that I need more details on. This guy right here, Mission Mario.
Yes.
It is a multi-cache.
That was my favorite.
Yeah, Joshua had a lot of fun playing Mario in front of this. And we were talking about prior to the beginning of the show is the fact that this mural was there, wasn't it?
Yeah, the mural was kind of in an alleyway in Fargo that doesn't get a lot of traffic. So it's been neat to see people discover it through the GeoTour, the first stage of the GeoTour, this cache.
I love seeing people in front of, there's a couple of people right there.
Those are my nieces.
Oh, neat.
That mural is a hidden gem because there's no way I would have found that mural without geocaching. No way. And it was so cool.
It is awesome. And the whole idea that you could take something like that, again, it's a it's a hidden gem, but yet to turn around so smartly and make it into part of a multi-cache, is so great. I think was it Chad that thought through the multi-cache part of that?
Originally, we were going to put it in the alley, the geocache, and
right.
Then the business that was there decided they didn't want it in the alley.
Oh, okay.
And Gia said, "Well, how about if we move it over to another business?" And they were really open and excited to have it.
That's
and the other business was a incredible Superior location.
Totally.
Which I don't know. Maybe we shouldn't say exactly where it is, but you can see the cache.
Yeah,
the cache is an awesome gadget.
Yeah, it's a historic location. The final stage is at a really cool building.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that's the thing about this one. And Joshua does such a great job of not giving everybody all the info, which is great. But that is my wife guessed. Tell me if she was correct, but she guessed that it was part of what a bank would use to, like, back in the day, they'd send the money through. I guess they still do. Yeah. Is that, Chad, the pieces that are of that, or how is that process used for that thing?
It's actually, it was the window actuator, electric
Oh, is it?
window
Okay.
actuator the switch that comes off the door to open and close.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, that's so great to see that. Oh, there you go. Tom's asking about the.
Yeah. So the question is, how long would it take the average cacher, which we could do a whole show on, in good weather to complete the tour? So if somebody was going to plan to come, they really wanted to fly in and complete the whole tour, how long should they budget for that?
That's a tough question. You could probably power it through in one day. Should you? There are some cool spots, and I think if you have the time to stick around the area, we're working on adding some other adventure labs and that kind of thing. But it's definitely doable in one day. If you're going to come to Fargo, you should definitely plan to go to Gilby as well.
Yes.
That is like seriously Disneyland for geocachers.
The geocaching Disneyland of the North, right, Joshua?
That's right.
Now we're having some serious days on there, though. I think we're going to have to swing by and visit Joshua while we're up there too, and all kinds of stuff to do.
Well, to just give you an understanding, I completed the GeoTour. It can easily be done in one day, but with some of these GeoTours, you're not really enjoying the location. Like, there was a really cool zoo that I didn't have time to go into. There's some restaurants that I would have loved to have, or a lot of the breweries when I was there were closed just because of the COVID-19. So to have to really enjoy the city, I would plan for a weekend. But then you need, oh gosh, when you go up to Gilby, which is about an hour and a half drive from Fargo. Yeah. When you go up there, now keep in mind, I was up there for one day and I only got 15 caches. 15. Now keep in mind, I was filming. So I probably could have got double that. I probably got 30. But Chad, how many do you have up there?
I don't even know. Let's
just say it's over 70, right?
I would say
wow.
And they're all good.
They're amazing.
I've
been there 3 times and they're still, every time I'm there, I'm like, how did I miss this last time? And it's like this cache that's so creative and so cool. And it has like 15 favorite points.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. I just want to say that's ridiculous because these caches are at the level of like what I experienced at Daniel Flieger.
Wow.
But they're even constructed more because they're not against businesses. They're literally like on the side of a dirt road.
Wow.
Like they were there was one I can't remember. There was one that had like it was a tube, like a PVC big tube, and I just kept opening it, and there were like more and more electronics, and all the electronics worked. And I was like, how? And I asked Chad, I was like, does this thing just lay out here in the winter? And he's like, yep. I was like, oh my gosh, this thing is indestructible. Like I was blown away. Yeah, so it's ridiculous. That Strongman cache, which has the most favorite points, 163. If that was in Minneapolis, it would have, I don't know, 500. Like these favorite point numbers. When you said 4,000, if Gilby is so tiny, if these caches were anywhere else, they would have tens of thousands, of face. So, yeah. So that's my advertisement.
Wow, that's incredible. And Joshua, for you to say that, we talked about before when you went a couple times. Well, the first time we went to Hanover and came back, I was like, all right, tell me the truth now. We're not on camera. You're not filming anything, just between you and me. I won't say anything to anybody else. Seriously, the caches in Hanover, are they really good? Are they, you're like, oh my gosh, they're unbelievable. They're incredible. And then for you to say that these are like that's incredible to say.
Yeah.
He is exaggerating.
No,
they aren't that me.
Well, here's what excites me. Here's why I'm glad I'm on the show tonight, because these two are very humble.
Yeah.
But I experienced it. What I love about this is that the GeoTour it's kind of like a magnet. GeoTours are magnets
Yes.
and it kind of put that area on the map. And so what I hope is that people will go to Fargo, spend a great weekend and do the GeoTour, and then take 2 or 3 more days and go up to Gilby and do some of the best geocaches in our country, really. And the concentration of them, amazing. Just one after another.
Wow, incredible.
Save your favorite points, people.
Yeah. Oh, I have
Stock up.
a confession to make. I took back favorite points.
Oh no.
so I could give them to these caches. I had to.
You have to.
We've discussed that many times on this show. You know what? Here's the deal. Before you go to Gilby, go do just like a random power trail. Then you have tons of extra favorite points saved up, and then you can just push them down as you go.
Right.
I just don't do that.
You go through and take out all your archived ones, right, Jesse? You take out the.
Let's not get into that tonight. That's a whole different show. But, so
That's awesome.
here's what I wonder. Let's say that you're a cacher in Gilby, and that's where you start. Like, what is your caching career going to look like after that? Like, hey, I'm going to go on my first trip. Like, you only cached in Gilby. And I'm going to go on my first trip, and you're like, where's the geocaches at? What's going on here? It's got to be just like an opposite of the world experience for somebody like that. You're really setting the bar high with that, and hopefully they leave from Gilby and go over to Moorhead next because they're like, oh, these are some other cool caches. Everywhere has to be just like this.
Well, then you become an evangelist, because I've met so many people at mega events from that area, and they've for years they've told me to come up there.
Right.
And I was like, oh yeah, I've seen some. Yeah, cool. Yeah, that's great. And then I went up there and I was like, oh, okay, yeah. That you really have some good stuff to draw people there.
No, incredible.
That just sounds amazing. Just all of these together sound amazing. Okay.
Wait till you see the videos, guys.
I know. Yeah,
I'm looking forward to that. Yeah,
everybody's got to watch those videos. You're just going to get surged after that. That's going to be great. But it sounds like we need about a week trip to go up there.
Yep.
Yeah, because like you said, there's a ton of things to not only do, caches to find. I mean, there's a lot that's just incredible and just neat to see. The videos, I know Joshua, I guess you can't really share how many you have, but you've got a few more to share at least from your trip.
I have, I'm doing them a little differently than I did the GeoTour. I'm only, the caches are so good that they deserve their own video.
Oh, wow.
So it'll be similar to what I did with Hanover, where I would feature one cache for each video. And so I have probably 15 videos in the hopper from Gilby.
Wow.
By doing it that way. I got to stretch it out till I can get back up there.
That's awesome.
July 25th.
Oh, okay. Perfect.
I think you talk about July 25th then.
Yeah, so my event was moved from May to July 25th because of this virus stuff. The reviewer decided that maybe we shouldn't be having it in May, but so we're looking forward. We're expecting quite a few people, but since the Canadian border has been closed, we backed it down, and we're not going to do as much stuff as we originally planned, but it's looking like there's going to be a fair number of people.
And that's going to be a community celebration event too, so people will have an opportunity to get that souvenir and icon if they don't have it yet.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Oh, nice.
Perfect.
And there will be an adventure lab popping up in Gilby at the same time.
Nice.
What is the date on that, Chad, again?
I think it's July 25th.
I just put the GC code in the chat.
Oh, awesome.
Good. I'll have to look it up.
It would be a perfect weekend. It would be a perfect weekend to come if people are considering. Everybody's plans have canceled anyway, so why not?
Right. Exactly.
Josh, they're hoping you come up again.
I'm looking at it.
Man, that's good. Good stuff. All right. Book it July 25th. Yes, Houston, Texas Day wants to come up. Perfect. Yep, Rhonda's going up.
We're gonna We're gonna make it go mega, Chad.
Yeah.
I don't know if I need that.
We would triple the population of Gilby.
Very easily.
Yeah. Christy's right. We all we need is 300. Sound like we got that many right now. Let's go.
There's not a lot of businesses in Gilby, so if somebody comes up, I usually will make them a hamburger if I know they're around for dinner or supper, and I don't have a grill big enough for
300 hamburgers.
Yeah, that might be a little difficult.
Wow. Oh, and Janice pointed out that some of yours are in a GeoTrail. Is that
Yeah, I do have a GeoTrail. I worked with Pembina and Walsh County. We put out the PWHT trail, which is north of us.
okay?
And a lot of them are gadget caches. I worked with the Historic Society. And
Oh,
they've got
cool.
so they actually picked all the locations. And Jerry, Genice, and I went up there and looked at the spots and decided what kind of container or cache to put up in there. A fair number of them are gadget caches, and a lot of them are copies of West Virginia Tims because I needed to put a lot of them together real quick. So,
Oh, but that's still
so
so
they've
cool.
got a fair number of favorite points north of me also.
Did you hear what he said? He had to put together a West Virginia Tim cache real quick.
real quick. Yeah.
I can't even put an ammo can out real quick.
That's awesome.
I've got one for Gia over my shoulder here. This barn is going to be for her bonus cache for her adventure lab.
Nice.
Oh, listen, I want to see it. Like, it's on me. I can't see it, Gary.
Was it?
I want to see it. I'm on the screen. Yeah. There it is. Okay.
Right
There
over
it
my
is.
shoulder. Yep.
Oh,
Awesome.
nice. I love it. Yeah, looking forward to that. That's great. Yeah. I know there's people who want to Abe lives north of you guys a little bit and he wants to come on down. So hopefully by that time he can pop over the border. But yeah.
AWOL has a lot of nice caches too, right across the border from.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Where Abe, yeah.
Great caches.
Yeah, that's perfect. You can go up there and get you a Canadian. Oh well, hopefully you can go grab a Canadian cache, get you another another country,
State.
another state, Canada, another country, and Tom, being involved in many megas, he wants to work on getting some hotel discounts. We get this.
You'll have to build one. You'll have to build a hotel.
Well, if my parents are at their camper, we can just live a mile away. I won't charge that much.
Grand Forks is pretty close.
Yes.
Grand Forks, and plus,
Beautiful state park.
Fargo's just an hour and a half. That to me, that's nothing. I drive that to work, so I mean that's not a bad trip at all. So, yeah. So Tom, that's right. Maybe Fargo could, you're gonna come for the GeoTour. Just tell them, hey, we want to see. We have people coming in for the tour. People going to Gilby. Popping over to Moorhead. So yeah, let's get us some discounts. We get this thing worked out. So
I'll work on that.
okay. All right. Well,
I have one more story before we close.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you guys are not going to be able to see it on the video, but the driving Miss Daisy cache, which is also probably one of my favorite ones. So you have to put the thing out. You have to put Daisy out the window,
right?
And you have to have your hand on the steering wheel,
right?
And you have to accelerate with your foot, right? but who's gonna hold the camera? Like, how am I gonna? I needed another hand to show
who's gonna film this. Yeah.
So luckily, my 13-year-old son Hayden, because I couldn't get enough speed, so I had him steer the car, and he was so scared.
Oh my!
He's like, Dad, there's a car coming. So I had to take like 5 runs at it before I could get enough speed to get Daisy to work. So, but that was really funny.
What an incredible! We talked about that earlier. Just out of Chad's mind, come some great ideas, and that's just a great idea for a cache.
It's a gift. It's a gift to be able to think of that stuff like that.
It is. It is. There's a few of them in the world, guys like Chad and DJW House and Bounce, different
And
different
Gary
people.
was
West
frozen.
Virginia Tim. I mean, perfect. I mean, wow. Yeah. So as we start to wrap up, I guess, Joshua, let's start with you. What are some of your final thoughts tonight?
I think I said it all. I really think that the Fargo-Moorhead GeoTour is unique. It's really high quality. It's really well done. Your kids are going to enjoy it.
Right.
It's for the whole family, and it's going to be I would love to see it as a magnet for people to spend 4 or 5 days in the area, get up to Gilby, and it would be for geocachers. It would be just an awesome. Full 4-day, 5-day trip. It's fantastic.
Incredible. So over to you two. I don't know, Chad or Gia, I'll let one of y'all go first and just kind of talk about sort of final thoughts for tonight.
I really enjoyed working with Gia. She is quite a go-getter. Just amazes me. She picked some beautiful spots in Fargo-Moorhead, and she always tried to slow me down. She didn't want me to make them too hard for the caches, make it easier for people to open them up. But Gia done an amazing job. She's involved in so many things in Fargo-Moorhead area, parks and little gardens, and you name it. Gia's in there somewhere.
That's awesome.
Way to go.
Wow.
And she has the best geocaching name ever.
She does.
Born to do it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Geocaches? Come on.
I know.
I can't mind it.
Confusion when I approach businesses. They're like, "Oh yeah, so you started this thing," and I'm like,
"Perfect." Yes, these are all me. There's 3 million geocaches around the world. Yes, I've had quite a following. I appreciate that, Joshua, that you had interviewed her in the video, because it definitely was nice to have her on as part of that. But so Gia, I guess we get some final thoughts from you as well.
Yeah, I guess, like I mentioned in the beginning, I think for me, it kind of came full circle. I've loved geocaching for a long time. So having the opportunity to work with a lot of cache owners that I've admired and found their caches for years before meeting them was really cool and unique. And being able to highlight this community that I call home was really special. And I guess I'd encourage anyone that's thinking about it or kind of on the fence to just take the leap. And I'm happy to answer any questions if people want to send me a message or reach out if they're looking to start a GeoTour in their own community.
Is there what's the best way that you would like people to get a hold of you?
I'm a pretty easy Google, or you can just send me a message on the geocaching website, Geocaches.
Okay, because your geocaching name is GIA Cache, right?
Geocaches active. Yes. Caches with an S.
Caches with an S. Okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, my last name is Rassier. So.
Right. Okay. Cool. Perfect.
So, as Gary wraps up, I just want to say, first of all, Joshua, thanks for coming on the show and covering these and kind of highlighting this, and then to both of you, just thank you for putting this kind of stuff out there. So
absolutely,
it's Father's Day again, but I'm a dad, and the last remaining kid I have at my house is a 13-year-old daughter. She has been caching since she's been walking, and she's kind of at that phase where, I'll go caching with you, but after a while, I want to sit in the car and play with my phone and don't want to get out on all of them. But if I was to take my daughter on this trip, and it sounds like we might because my wife's in the chat room right now, and I showed her what these were, or she started getting out, she would go out on every single one of these. She would not want to stop. This is the kind of stuff that she dreams about when we go geocaching, although we know all geocachers are not like this, right? We just know they're not. But if I planned this and I planned a 4-day weekend and took her with this, she would be out there with every single one of these. This would be a new family experience. And I know it was a lot of work. It's a lot of work to do these things. And thank you for putting something out there like this for not just family caches, but everybody, but for the ones that cache with family. You can get kids out doing this kind of stuff, and that's huge. So thank you for all the effort you've done to do this.
Yeah, those are some of my favorite logs when the parents say that my teenager actually got out of the car and came with. I love reading those.
Yeah, if you can get the teenagers, you know you've succeeded.
Yeah, y'all won. So.
And you can hand her the whiskey sour says you can hand her the spray cannon for the graffiti.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Make sure you bring some spray paint.
I love that. Just incredible. I mean, just even the currently the GCV is hopefully still up on the wall or on the side. You got you a good spot there, Joshua, where you put the GCV. So I thought that was good.
Yeah, right in the corner there.
Right in the corner is perfect.
Right in the corner.
Oh my gosh, yes. All right, there's no cash with a couple, and they don't always get out. They did there. Oh, wow, that's incredible, Jody. Wow. So there you go. If you can reach a couple teenagers, so showed her photos. Yeah. Thank you, Zoe. Yeah. Thank you, Ellie. Tell her hi for us. No, incredible. I've got nothing more to say other than just thank you to everybody. This, as Jesse says, we do plan out a ways, but this show really kind of came together, fairly quickly, and we actually pushed a couple shows around. I asked Jesse Tuttle if we could move his out a little bit. We which worked out better really for him and for the show that he's going to be doing in a couple weeks. And, so Joshua, thank you so much for helping in the process of getting this, the show put in. It was perfect. We actually talked about it on, show 200. And so here we are at 203. We were able to do that. So it was well worth the moving around of things to get everybody on, and everybody was available. It's not always the case. And so, again, incredible. So thank you guys so much. Thank you for doing it. You are, very much, something that we really need in the geocaching community. So it means a lot to all of us and your commitment to our sport. So, all right. Well, thank you, everybody. And if you need more information, obviously you can always contact us. We can contact everybody else as well if you need more information on that area of the world. And so thank you so much. All right, here we go.
Thanks for having us on.
Thank you.
Oh, you bet. Thank you guys so much.
Folks, we hope you've enjoyed the show tonight, as well as our new format. Please email us your comment at geocachetalk@gmail.com. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. The show can be found on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Radio Public, or Spotify, as well as at the Geocache Talk website. Don't forget to click that subscribe button below and ring that bell notification so that you can see and hear the show on a weekly basis. And tell your friends about the show. Get them involved with us in the chat room. And until next week, don't just talk about geocaching, go geocaching.
All right. Thank you, guys. Stick around a minute. We're going to say goodbye to everybody else. Good night, everybody.
All right.